Tomorrow is Thursday. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Good morning and welcome to your Thursday edition of the Morning Jog. My name is Matt Cohan and I am joined today by my friends, Robbie Berger and Francis Ellis.
Hey, Francis Ellis really riding the struggle bus here today this morning. Sorry. That's a young man with not a whole lot of sleep in his system.
Didn't sleep well, no.
Woke up at 2 and just stared at a wall. We'll see what kind of performance we get from the young man.
Well, you know, what happened was I don't like to keep my girlfriend awake, so I get out of the bed out of deference to her, and then I had to go to the other little bedroom. And I'm telling you, it sounds nice, 2 bedrooms, whatever. It's the smallest bedroom you've ever seen, and it's my sister's childhood bed, and there's a bar at the end, so you put your feet under the bar and your ankles are locked in like you're constrained at a psych ward.
It's like you're riding a roller coaster.
Yeah. My ankles are bruised.
You better knock it off. You better knock it off.
Didn't get sleep. Byron's all over the place
Byron's
today.
all salty, dude. We're gonna have to trudge through the show, but we'll kick it off.
Pick it up. Let's go.
We'll kick it off today with some troubling news for the people of the Motor City. The NBA announced the next season all teams will have special statement edition uniforms that will feature the Jumpman logo on the front. This news could not come at a worse time for Pistons fans who are fresh off watching Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys get ruthlessly dragged in the Last Dance doc by a still salty Michael Jordan. Francis, how can any self-loving Pistons fan buy a uniform honoring the man who blackballed its franchise's best player ever?
Here's the thing. If you're a Pistons fan and you watched The Last Dance, I think this is a situation where you don't have to have your team's back. I'm sorry. I understand loyalty and all that bullshit, but Michael Jordan was so classy and so it felt very unbiased in how he presented what happened with the handshake thing. You know, where and you saw the clips of them shaking hands after the Pistons beat them the first year, and then the next year or 2 years later, the Bulls beat them and they all walked off the court before the game was even over, whatever. And I just don't think anyone, even a Pistons fan, could say anything other than our guys were wrong there, right? Michael Jordan, everybody else was on his side in that. I feel like you can't hold that against Michael Jordan. He's not the enemy. It's not you versus him. It was Isaiah Thomas versus Michael Jordan, and Isaiah Thomas was 100% wrong. Everyone hates him. At some point, you have to say, well, yeah, you know, that was a shitty chapter. Maybe you can still be proud of like the Bad Boys and Bill Laimbeer and Rodman and that crazy play that they had. But I don't think that you need to like take the side and say we can't have Jordan logo because Jordan, you know what I mean? Like I don't think you need to show your team loyalty through that.
Yeah, for me, from a handshake perspective, you know, that whole thing, I totally agree, Francis. I think the Pistons were definitely in the wrong, and I think that they could kind of side with that and get that. My thing is this. First off, I think Jerry West probably had a couple enemies. That's the NBA logo that somebody has to look at every single day. The way I look at it is this guy was your arch enemy. If I had to look as a big Yankees fan at a David Ortiz logo on the Yankees jersey, it just would not sit right with me. Somebody who we've just gone at it numerous times that's just given you nightmares for years. So if I had to see him on the logo of my jersey, it would sting. It would absolutely sting. From the handshake standpoint, I totally agree. I think the Pistons were absolutely in the wrong, and I think a lot of their fans would agree with that. But I would see that being very frustrating, having to look at this guy now on your jersey, not even just a logo somewhere on sneakers, on the jersey. I think it stings a little bit.
Yeah, the handshaking thing is one thing, but like if I was a Pistons fan, I'd be super annoyed by the fact that like for 3 out of those first 4 years, like 88, I think it was, to 90, they kicked the Bulls' ass, and now they're just like a footnote in this big Bulls like redemption story saga, and like that's what would annoy me. Like obviously Isaiah was wrong, but like I don't know, just that reminder that 30 years later, just that like, fuck you again. It's like they can't even, and they live in Detroit. So
Right.
I think it's going to be like right over the Pistons name too. I think it says the Pistons
on
and
their
then Jordan.
ugliest jerseys. It's like on their gray. They're like
Yeah.
the trashiest jerseys.
It looks like Jordan's dunking on them again.
Yeah, I know. They just should have Lambeer under.
Yeah.
Why haven't they? I know it comes up a lot, but the idea of changing the NBA logo away from Jerry West, and I know they often talk about using the Jumpman logo in its place. Why haven't they done that? What stops that from happening? Because I feel like if they did that, then the Pistons might be like, well, every team has to deal with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got close when Kobe passed
Yeah,
away. There was a
Kobe was in-
petition to get Kobe, and that
Oh,
would have made a
yeah.
lot of sense to me. Like
Right.
that, I totally would have understood. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what goes into changing it, but that I thought was a time to change it. You put Kobe on there, nobody's going to argue with that.
It's just a matter of time before Jerry West gets canceled. So there is still time.
Oh, you know, Jerry's got a couple
120.
dark secrets.
All right, guys. We've got some more upsetting news surrounding our man Kanye here. West deleted a tweet early Wednesday in which he said he was trying to divorce wife Kim Kardashian after she met Meek Mill at the Waldorf Hotel for quote-unquote prison reform. He also accused her of trying to get him locked up for his rants. Reports indicate that Kardashian is furious at her 43-year-old husband after he claimed they considered terminating Kardashian's first pregnancy, which eventually resulted in their daughter North. He also said he doesn't care if Kim divorced him because she gave him his daughter. It's since been reported that a humiliated Kim has met with divorce lawyers to discuss the future of their relationship. Kanye, who is currently holed up at his Wyoming ranch, also took an ambiguous shot at Kris Jenner, referring to her as Kim Jong-un. Roberto, 6 months, Kanye and Kim are done. You taking the over or under?
At the way it's going right now, I'm slamming the under. I just don't know how much the Kardashians can take. I really do. I'm kind of in the standpoint, and I think some of the internet's kind of getting there too, where it's like, should we be laughing at this? Like, it's almost at the point where it's kind of sad. He's clearly going through some sort of episode. And, not to get off track here, Francis, you had a great tweet with Dave Chappelle, where he's like trying to get Chappelle to tell a joke, and you could tell that Chappelle just wants nothing to do with having to crack a joke. It's an absolute circus. It's the most entertaining thing right now. And to answer your question, Maddie, I'm slamming that under, and I kind of am at the point where I feel bad for laughing at him, and it's sad. It really is. It's starting to get sad.
Right.
I'm honestly, if this is the end of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, I'm kind of impressed by how long they lasted. If I'm honest,
So true.
what, 4 kids? Probably a multitude of manic episodes, all the craziness. I mean, if you had put there, remember when it was announced that they were getting together, they were dating, like what would you have put the over-under on at that point? Because at that point she had come from Chris Humphries in a 6-week marriage that ended, and then like, I don't know, Reggie Bush, and then all these, and it was like, oh wow, it took Kanye West to really lock her down. Having said that, I remember when Kanye had his first kind of mental breakdown that made everyone aware of his bipolar disorder, and when he canceled his concert dates and checked himself into his psych ward, and Kim was very supportive of him in that moment, and then he wrote a song dedicating it to her, saying like how amazing she was. And I think what you realize is, like, for them it was in sickness and in health until he came after the Kardashian name. Right. At which point it's like all bets are off.
Yep.
Fire up the old divorce attorney who's clearly on her favorites list on her iPhone. And, here we go. So I don't know. I mean, the sad part is they do have children, and, obviously that's the nightmare, but it's not as if like Kim needs to take Kanye for money because she has so much herself. if this is the end of their relationship, they gave it a good run, and I wish them both the best. I hope Kanye comes back to earth a little.
If there was an over-under from the time they started, I think they definitely hit the over. So they could live, they could live on that for sure. They absolutely hit the over.
I mean, 3 weeks maybe. I mean, they've been years, and Kanye can't commit to anything.
No.
Right.
It's amazing. All right, we'll finish off Thursday's show with a little more lighthearted bit here. A 46-year-old Terrell Owens, who hasn't played a football game in 8 years, mind you, is back in the spotlight after he was filmed running a crazy fast 4.42-ish 40-yard dash. Earlier this week, Chiefs Tyreek Hill, who's been working out with Owens, said that he believed T.O. is faster than many wide receivers in the NFL despite his age, and this recent footage seems to prove it. Francis, how impressed are you by this achievement?
Look, T.O. does this every couple years, right?
Sure.
And I think what you got to understand is that, like, running a straightforward 40-yard dash without your shirt on is a very different thing than coming over the middle on a slant route and trying to catch a ball knowing you're about to get your head knocked off by Brian Urlacher, right? So, yes, a 46-year, he's kind of a one-trick pony at this point. You know what I mean? He has not lost that straight-ahead speed, but that doesn't say much about his hands, his lateral quickness, his ability to get past a D-back on the line. So, by the way, D-back, I don't think anyone calls them that. That's the abbreviation for Diamondbacks, not defensive backs.
You're okay there.
Yeah, but here's my point, right? The thing that impresses me about Terrell Owens is that every time we see him, his body is the same.
Yeah.
When is his body going to fall apart? He is just dripping with muscles.
Yeah.
He looks like, what's that that artist that did the dripping clocks?
Oh, that's
like
Dali, Salvador Dali.
Oh yeah, Dali. Like
Very
like
impressive.
A Dali
That you know
painting.
that, Maddie. I never would have got that.
Everything about him, it's just dripping muscles. And at some point, you have to be like, dude, you're my dad's age, and like, what? How are you doing this?
Yeah, Francis, I completely agree with you about just running. But have you guys? When was the last time you guys tried to run full speed? Like just one of those darts?
I tell you, I wouldn't want to know what my 40 is. I really wouldn't.
I did it before COVID. I did it on a beach with my friend, and I ran track in high school, like type of deal. Dude, I felt like I was anchored to the ground.
Yeah.
I just wasn't moving. It was amazing. And he's what, 46?
Yeah,
pretty
you lose
impressive.
it for sure. I did the combine when we were at Barstool. We did a big combine.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
What's his name? The guy who does the drafts.
McShay.
Todd McShay.
Piper or
was
McShay?
timing us.
Yeah.
And I ran a 4.72. But I had cleats on, and that was like probably 3 years ago.
You had to win that. Did you win that?
Oh yeah, by miles. I won everything except for the bench press. Smitty won the bench press because I think he's on meth. He just like mainlines like energy drinks into his arm or whatever. But I was really happy. And then McShay was like, well, that would actually be a pretty middle road time for defensive backs in the NFL draft this year. And he was impressed, which made me start thinking maybe I should try out for the NFL.
Did you get anything for winning that combine?
I think I got like a little trophy or something. Nothing much, unfortunately. No.
To me, it's like with that, it's all you could train as much as you want. It's just God given. I mean, you could do everything you want to do. You might be able to shave off, some sort of time. But at that point, when Terrell Owens is the age that he is and running it, it's pretty impressive. Friends, I agree with you. Said it's a total different game, doing routes, but it's just God given. And it seems like every year, T.O. and Chad Ochocinco take a year off. They split back and forth on who's going to make a comeback that year.
Yeah.
One year it's Chad Ochocinco. The next year it's Terrell Owens. They just switch off. But it's God-given. It's God-given and pretty impressive.
He drinks like he can't drink, right? Like there's
I bet he, I bet he's super into like hot yoga and does
Yeah.
3 hours of exercise a day and still is just trying to like maintain it for as long as he can. But at
Yeah.
some point you want to see this guy with a cigar in his mouth on the golf course, like eating a hoagie,
Those abs are going nowhere.
Yeah,
Nowhere.
it's
Pretty
kind of
amazing.
startling. It's like, dude, give it up and go like the Shaq route. Just kind
Yeah.
Yeah.
of
Even his abs are built the same way that it was his rookie year. They just haven't changed. They haven't moved.
Yeah, wild. All right, boys. We'll put a pin in it there. That's your Thursday edition of the Morning Jog. Thank you for listening at home. We'll see you on Tuesday. Peace.
See you guys.